Hello viewers, this is Smart Agro Innovation. Today we are moving towards a fractional distillation, I would say office. How fractional distillation is done, how alcohol is produced, how the palm wine is converted to alcohol, that is ethanol, local way of brewing alcohol, local way of producing alcohol. We want you to see what happens and what goes through so that we can all learn from it. Without wasting much time, let us start from here. First of all these liquids that you see here are products of the palm. If I say products of the palm, we are talking about oil palm tree. We all know that when you pull this thing down, when you cut this thing down, getting it from the root zone, automatically there exists a natural sucrose, a natural sugar within the sap of the oil palm tree. Therefore, you try going along. I'll show you how to get these palm trees down. Yes, after it has fallen, they try as much as possible, the palm wine tappers try as much as possible to use their local means to extract the liquid palm wine. So as you see here, we have the palm tree that has been falling down, and what you see, this is the whole setup of getting the sap, the liquid, the palm wine. So this is palmy, typical palmy. So this is palm wine. So after getting all these palm trees down, there are a series of things that they do on this to collect the liquid from the sap. But this time around, I'll invite the tapper himself to, show us how the whole thing is, so that we can see the setup. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. Yeah, so what you see is that you can see the sap, the whole sap of the palm tree. I would say the apical meristem, the internal structure, what makes the palm tree. You see that it's here. So I tell you, if the whole thing is there, you can see that there will be what? The xylem vessels, and then all those things, the translocation, and then all the things that happens in the tree. So automatically the sap is where you will get all those liquids. So this liquid that is being collected as palm wine. So it's so simple, as you can see. So once they scrap the whole thing, then it produces the sap, and then they use this one to collect it. So it is very simple. And then they have a special over here. It will drip one by one. You can see. So you can see this drippings. So that is what they collect. To take about 12 hours for them to collect. You see that by tomorrow the whole thing will be full. They remove it and they go and pour it in their container. So that is how the whole thing is. So after everything, then they cover it so nicely so that maybe when there is rain, the rain will not enter the sap. So this is what is collected as palm wine. Now let's move straight away to the production center where they produce the real alcohol itself. Let's go. As you can see here, this is a typical palm wine. This is palm wine. This is palm wine. As you can see, if I say palm wine, it's a liquid from oil palm tree that contains sucrose. So this is palm wine. I can show you, can testify. This is palm wine. So alcohol is produced from this. It's very sweet. It tastes sweet. It's very nice. This particular one came today. So as you can see, this is palm wine. Once they get it in here, what the palm wine trapper does is that they keep it in these barrels. They keep them in these barrels and then cover it with a black polyethylene sheet. With a black polyethylene sheet. The whole idea of covering it is that the whole idea of covering the whole thing is, as you can see here, so they cover it nicely and if possible tie it. This whole idea is to subject this palm wine to fermentation. So first of all, fermentation will take place after 1 week or 7 days. Then they remove this black sheet. What you see here is about only 5 days. We will still cover it, but for the purpose of the video, that is how come we have removed the black polyethylene sheet. When it is covered with the black polyethylene sheet, the whole idea is that it will accumulate heat. We all know that before fermentation can take place, heat is also one of the factors. So the whole barrel, including the liquid, which is the palm wine, will be subjected to heat. Once that happens, then you will see that you see some bubbles on the surface. And then after 1 week, which is 7 days, then the whole thing is fermented. When the whole thing is fermented, it becomes acidic. Yes, that is ethanol. I tasted this, but I can't taste this because the way it will taste is not easy, so I won't taste it. Now, what you see here, that's the barrel tray. What you see in this barrel is the palm wine which has been subjected to fermentation. So this is the fermented liquid. This is the fermented liquid. This whole thing is fully fermented. It has passed through the 7 days of fermentation stage. Now, after obtaining this, after the 7 days, what you do is to get your barrel or the drum. This is a local way of production, local way of producing alcohol or ethanol. So industrially, they will take it to the lab and all those things. But here, in our local way, in Africa, in Ghana, in Western North, this is what we do. Now, to get the normal liquid, that is the fermented liquid, then quickly we pour it in this drum. This is the whole setup. This is the whole setup of fractional distillation, a whole setup of fractional distillation. This drum is a metal drum, a metal barrel. As you can see, that it has been subjected to heat. There is a source of heat. So we have the whole setup, the drum being the cooking chamber, and then you also have this particular, in the local way they call it engine, but you can see that this is where we have the condenser and all those things. Everything is found in there. Locally they will call it engine, but this is the tube through which the vapor will pass through, and once it gets here, because of the water, the vapor will be converted into liquid. That is the process of condensation. That is when water vapor meets cold winds, automatically it is going to convert back to liquid. And once that is done, that is what we see here. So it's so simple, but we'll come there. So let us start from here. Now after getting the drum from here, then we pour the fermented liquid into this drum. And what we should do is to get a source of fire. So you can see that locally we have fire in there. We have fire, but industrially you can see that they will use either a gas or something, a gas cylinder. But in place of this is locally produced. That is how can we have the source of fire. So this one will cook, or it will boil the thing to the boiling point. That is the 100 degrees Celsius boiling point. So after boiling the whole thing, the heat is too much, so after filling the whole thing, it will not be full. It will be filled to half of the drum, so that when the whole thing is boiled to the boiling point, automatically the fermented sucrose or the fermented palm wine will now convert from liquid to gas. That is vaporization. That is vaporization. So the liquid will be converted to gas. So we have vaporization. When after getting that vapor, it will be suspended at the upper layer of the drum, and this particular vapor will move through this pipe. It will move through this pipe. Once it moves through the pipe, as we see, since the whole thing is occurring, there is a movement of the gas through the tube. Once the tube, because that is the only place or the only exit for the gas or the vapor. So now it will move through the tube to the condenser. There is a condenser inside here. That's why there's a source of water. So automatically the vapor, the hot vapor or the hot air, when it meets the cold nature of the water, then it will be converted into water or liquid. That is the ethanol or the alcohol. Then through this pipe, this alcohol will be collected over here. This alcohol will be collected over here. And when that is collected, that is where they take home. That is where it is used as alcohol. That is where the brewery company uses. That is what they have been using, the ethanol. They have been using pharmaceutical companies. So it is so simple. It is so simple. Once again, for the purpose of understanding, I want to go back again. This whole compartment here, that is the pipe. We have the drum. It will be filled with the fermented palm wine to the half brim of this particular drum. After that, then they subject this to heat. So it will boil to the boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. Industrially, they will use thermometers here, but here is a local brewery, so therefore they don't have any thermometer. But they know that when they cook the whole thing, when it reaches the boiling point where the sucrose or the palm wine is converted to vapor, they are able to identify and know. So as we stand, then the vapor will be suspended at the upper layer of the drum. Then here, since this place is the only place of exit for the vapor, it will move through this pipe, and when it gets here, automatically the hot air moving through the pipe will be converted to liquid. That is what do you call it? Condensation. When hot air meets cold wind, it is the same as the whole cycle, the water cycle of rainfall. It is the same thing. So we have the hot air from here. Once it meets the cold nature, then it enters the condenser. So automatically the condenser will condense the hot gas or the hot vapor into liquid, and this is the outlet. When that happens, then it will be dripping inside the bottle here, and then it is collected as ethanol or alcohol. So simple. So that is the whole. So after the whole conversation, when the whole thing passes through, after condensation, this is the liquid received as alcohol or ethanol. So it's so simple. The alcohol or ethanol. The hot air will pass through the pipe there. To pass through this pipe. And once it gets there, then it cools down. So automatically condensation will take place. After condensation has taken place, then the whole thing, the liquid will be received over here. Let us watch it. You see that the ethanol is coming out. It's just like the whole process of rainfall. Yeah. So let's observe. You see the liquid coming out very soon. Yes. So the whole thing wants to come. The liquid is dripping. Yes. So this is the condensed liquid after condensation. This is what is received as alcohol. This is what is received as alcohol, and locally they call it number one because it is very, very, very powerful. Yes, highly concentrated. If you don't take care and you drink this, do something else. Yes. So this is how the whole setup is. It looks so amazing. This is the local way of manufacturing or producing alcohol or ethanol. It's so simple. You can see that the whole thing is dripping out. The whole thing is dripping out. So in a nutshell, that is the whole process. In a nutshell, that is the whole process of fractional distillation. So to make a long story short, after getting the liquid from the palm tree, then you subject it to fermentation. You are going through the fermentation process for 1 week in the barrels, the blue barrels there. Then they pour it into this drum. After they have poured that, they set up a heat for it. Then the whole thing, you can see that it is really once it gets here, the hot air, it will receive some hot air or vapor. The whole liquid inside there will be automatically converted into vapor. Once the vapor is received, then the vapor passes through the pipe. Once it gets here, it will cool down, and when that happens, condensation will take place, and the hot air will change into water, will change into liquid. Sorry. So automatically the liquid we are seeing here is the ethanol or the alcohol. That is it. So that is the whole understanding of fractional distillation of alcohol. It's so simple. You can get all these things from here. If today is your first time of watching us, then I tell you, kindly subscribe to our channel. This is Smart Agro Innovations. We say we are moving deep to places for you to get a full understanding of whichever thing that we do. So today, if you are watching us, if you are in Ghana or any part of the world, this is the local way of producing alcohol or ethanol. It's so simple and sounds great. Yes, so simple and sound great. My name is Anthony Beidu. If you watch us, and our doors are open for training and then other consultancy services. Thank you very much for watching. This is Smart Agro.